Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Mid-Atlantic Modeling League's Blood Bowl number 4. It is the championship tournament of this season. We're down to just 4 teams left. The semifinals start today, and it's going to be a good one. It's going to be Bash versus Edge. This afternoon, we've got the Forest of Flames versus Nevva, JD Whitey versus Chime, Wood Elf versus Orc. Let's take a look at this bracket before we take a look at the two teams. This bracket started with 11 teams qualifying for this season's Blood Bowl. In round 1, it was El Numerino's Stairway to Nuffle versus the Harlequins BBFC, coached by BB Nut. That was Underworld versus Undead. The Harlequins would win that game, advancing into round 2. SPB, for welcome to the stream. Praying to Nuffle. I think we got at least 2 people that's going to be praying to Nuffle tonight. The Harlequins would then advance into round 2 to face off against the Kind Sirs. Kind Peacocks, that was an Imperial Nobility team. The Harlequins would defeat the Kind Peacocks to advance to round 3. I Want to Be Like Doug, coached by Richard Cranium, face off against Alphitus Australis, coached by Eric. I Want to Be Like Doug, unfortunately, had technical issues, had to forfeit round 2. That left Alphitus Australis to advance to round 3, where then Alphitus Australis had to forfeit due to technical issues, and that allowed the Harlequins to advance into round 4. There, the Harlequins would face off against S. Beavers, the Dead Poets. That was an Undead Mirror match where the Dead Poets would defeat the Harlequins and stop their run for the championship this season. The Dead Poets would advance to round 5. They would face off against the winners of the match between Nevva versus Real American Heroes. And as you might guess, Nevva defeated the Real American Heroes, coached by Dead Fred. That was a Dark Elf team. Chimes Nevva advanced to round 5, defeating the Dead Poets to make it here to the semifinals. 4 teams left, 4 games left. We're going to get underway tonight with the Forest of Flame versus Nevva. There's one more game in that bracket. Look at that. It's the White Skull Windbreakers versus Cenozoic Park. All 4 of these teams really have something to say. We started with 21 teams. We're down to 4. All 4 of these teams have accolades to their names. Of course, we have Doug the Minotaur's White Skull Windbreakers. That's an Orc team. They are the current league champions. We have Nick Satan Cenozoic Park, the only coach in the top 4 that played in week 1 of the league, went on to win season 1. That's a Lizardman team. The Forest of Flames tonight, JD Whitey's Wood Elf team, undefeated going into the semifinals. And of course, Chimes Nevva, an Orc team. They faced off against Doug the Minotaur in the Chaos Cup finals, losing only to kicks. 4 fantastic teams, 3 Bashy teams, 1 Edge team. We're going to see that Edge team up tonight as the home team. They'll be coming in at a TV of 1,385,000 gold. They have 14 players on the roster. 2 will not be starting this evening due to injury. That's number 3 and number 5. They have 2 war dancers. They have 2 catchers, a thrower, and a whole bunch of linemen. 1 apothecary, 4 dedicated fans, 3 rerolls. They're going to be up against this Orc team, Nevva. They come in at a TV of 1,380,000 gold. They have just 11 players on the roster. And what? oh, it looks like, TV has changed a bit. So 1,380,000 gold in team value. That means only 5K going back to Nevva. It would have been 45K. They could have picked up a couple of rerolls, but decided to spend that money. Now they're down to 5K. So nothing happening in the inducement phase in tonight's matchup. It's just going to be down to these 2 rosters. 11 players on the roster here. 4 the Big and Blockers, 4 Blitzers, 3 linemen, 1 Oppo, 1 cheerleader, 1 assistant coach, all 7 dedicated fans, and 3 rerolls. How are these 2 teams going to play tonight? Let's take a look at the home team first. That's the Forest of Flames, the Wood Elf team. They're going to do what elves do. They have lots of speed. Their slowest piece is MA7, and lots of agility, 2+ across the board. They have those 2 war dancers, 2 catchers, a thrower, and a whole bunch of linemen. They can pass, they can run, they can do it all except perhaps stay alive. They've got the 2 war dancers who are blodgers. 1 is strip ball, 1 has tackle and sidestep, has another blodger in number 7, Leighton, has another blodger in number 13, Lopin the catcher. Both catchers have sidestep. And he has tackle on Bissig, and of course he has that, in my opinion, that all-important kicker, particularly for this matchup in number 10. This is a team that they can score whenever they want. Whatever turn they want to score when they're on offense, they can do it. With that thrower and 2 catchers, he has a solid passing game as well as the running game. Really, it's just about staying alive long enough to win this game. If they start off on defense in this matchup, I think that's where they want to be. That's going to guarantee that they have all of their players on the roster. JD Whitey, welcome to the stream. Praying to Nuffle in this matchup. But yeah, they probably want to start on defense just to make sure they have a full 11 on defense to try to stop the score. If they can do that, they'll be in really great shape to win this game 1-0. Otherwise, it's just about staying alive, right? They just need to keep these players alive. They do have the stripped ball war dancer, which means on defense, they're going to be they've got a trick up their sleeve, right? On offense, the Orc team's going to have to be really careful of that War Dancer, the strip ball War Dancer, and they're probably going to cage that ball up ASAP just to make sure it's safe, just to make sure that that nuisance War Dancer doesn't get in on the cage, doesn't get on the ball carrier, and doesn't knock that ball loose. Because if that ball gets knocked loose, remember, these elves can run, they can pass. If they pick that ball up, they're probably gone. So Nevva, on the other hand, being the Bashy team in this matchup, has the strength advantage, has a number of players with block, 7 players with block, 4 players with guard, 3 players with mighty blow, 3 players with tackle, and you can bet they're going to come into play tonight. He's going to probably, I don't want to say probably, but number 6 and number 9, those 2 blitzers with tackle, they have tackle and mighty blow. One has frenzy, but they might be hunting those War Dancers. If Nevva can remove those War Dancers from the pitch, they'll be in real great shape. But their job is just to kill elves. Just take those elves off the roster, or off the pitch, I should say. Just remove those elves. Take the blocks that you'll be getting as the Bashy team and try to get them off the pitch. The difficulty here is he can't get overcommitted hunting elves. In fact, he probably doesn't want to hunt anybody other than those War Dancers. If the job is to get the player advantage, use your strength to remove elves from the pitch, then I would say the primary objective is to just get your blocks without overcommitting. He needs to keep a secondary in check on defense. He needs to keep it back there just in case an elf breaks away. Not necessarily a War Dancer, not necessarily a catcher. It could be anyone. Elves are so fast and so agile that every single positional can really play any position. So he needs to keep the secondary in check, can't overcommit, just needs to take the blocks, try to remove those elves. If he gets a block on a War Dancer, the War Dancer would be the secondary objective. Now, I just said that the War Dancers are probably the most important piece on the team. Why wouldn't those be the primary objective? Well, that comes down to the tactics that he's going to have to employ tonight. He doesn't want to overcommit on blocks. He certainly doesn't want to do that on linemen. But if he gets a block on a War Dancer, maybe he does commit a little bit on that War Dancer. Maybe he does rush to get the block on the War Dancer. Maybe he fouls that War Dancer when he gets the knockdown, because it's so important to remove them. They are such great pieces, and they're so pivotal to the war elf, the wood elf, the wood elf strategy. That if he can remove those, that's a big advantage that he'll have tonight. Lots of block, lots of strength. Lots of guard and mighty blow. Even has a sprinkling of tackle in there. He's got the skills he needs. He's got the tools he needs to beat this Wood Elf team. We'll see if he can pull it off tonight. Nothing happening in the inducement phase, so it's going to come down to these 2 rosters. And indeed, I have to wager that the Forest of Flame won the coin toss here, as they're going to set up on defense, setting up in a split anchor formation to start this championship game. This semifinal matchup here. Final 4 teams. The winner, of course, advances to the finals. The loser will advance to the consolation round, where we'll determine the 3rd place and 4th place teams. SP Beaver says 2 with Frenzy. That's a lot of elf bashing. 2 with Frenzy. Did I miss the second Frenzy player? Oh, I did. He does have 2 with Frenzy. Oh boy. So Frenzy means that if you take a block and that block isn't a knockdown, you must follow up and you must take a second block. That can be great for murdering pieces such as wood elves, but also going to be a little tricky because you have to follow up and have to take that second block. We saw Chime in round 5 fall victim to this. You have to really be careful if that to position that Frenzy block in such a way that your next block is not going to be disadvantageous. We saw Chime Frenzy follow up into an uphill block So you do have to be careful about your positioning with your frenzy players, but otherwise, so long as you have that under control, you're getting 4, 6 dice on a block. You have that on a frenzy player. I'm sorry, you have that on a mighty blow player. And that's just really strong, right? That's lots of block dice to guarantee you get that knockdown. 3 on the line now for Nevva to start this game. Clear skies in this first semifinal matchup. 2 of the big blockers on the line does have the number 4 blitzer in that right guard position. 2 back to receive. Got to make you understand. And I just want to tell you, the 4th, 2 rookie linemen back to receive. SB Beaver says, where's the tree? How can you have what else without a tree? JD Whitey says, it's very sunny. You know what? I should learn to just look at look at the weather. Indeed, it is very sunny. So all passes are going to be a -1. The sun's in the eyes. That's going to hurt the Wood Elf team more than this Orc team. But generally speaking, in the game of Blood Bowl, you don't want to pass if you can at all help it. It is the riskiest action you can take in the game. There's just lots of die rolls involved. But all that said, this Wood Elf team's still a passing team. They can pass successfully. And on the onside kick, they're going to get a blitz. What? Wow, what a start to this game. So they have the kicker kicked onside to try to recover this ball. Rolled a 1 on the D3 on the blitz, and now 3 unmarked players get a free turn here. And yes, indeed, here come the Elves. Dre, the number 10 lineman, marking the ball, marking Desertia, and also beside the ball here. The ball will bounce 1 space, provided nobody ends up underneath of it. Hank the Ranger, welcome to the stream. I'm here so the coaches are safe from sweltering heat. Hank the Ranger doing his duty to ensure that no fun weather events happen. Number 7 on the takes the mark for the blitz on number 4. 2-die blitz with Tef, the War Dancer, gets a both standing result out of this. 1 more space of movement left with Teft. It'd be a 2+ to dodge away. Deluxe Cowboy rooting for JD Whitey. Welcome to the stream. Gets a player under the ball. 3+ catch works out. Relane, the number 12 catcher, in possession of this ball. The defense takes possession of the ball on turn 1. Nevva now to start the game. Nevva on the back foot here. They started on offense but didn't have a chance to get the ball on the blitz kickoff event. And now they're going to try to almost certainly blitz this catcher, try to recover this ball, and maybe even take a catcher off the pitch in the process. Here it is. 2-die blitz. Gets a push out of this. Frenzy follow-up on the sidestep. Two-die follow-up, gets another push out of this. That's not good. Will he re-roll this? He will re-roll this into the knockdown thanks to tackle. I think that was the right call. How to spend one of those re-rolls. But that ball, oh no! The ball would bounce in the hands of Tef. Tef would fumble that ball, and now the ball ends up on the 4-yard line. Nevva his 4-yard line here. Good use of the re-roll, I think. Couldn't keep that ball in the hands of that catcher, or else could have been lights out. BB Nut, welcome to the stream. SB Beaver says Elves already elfing it up. So trying to keep this ball safe for a turn. Still hasn't blocked down the line. 18 seconds on the clock for Nevva. Here's the 2-die block on the line. Gets a push on Pete, the injured rookie lineman. Frenzy follow-up into a knockdown. 7+ breaks armor, but doesn't get it. BB Nut cheering for JD Whitey. Wants to see JD Whitey make it to the championship game. A POW on Dabbit, injured lineman again. 7+ will break armor here, but no armor break. Two-die block on Teft. This is going to be a sidestep push. Dodge skill does two things for you in this game. The dodge skill lets you treat that little exclamation point die roll. That's a defender stumbles result. Lets you treat that as a push rather than getting knocked down. It also allows you a free reroll when dodging, but that gets negated by the tackle skill. You can see this little foot. That's the tackle skill. That negates dodge in both respects. So a very good tool we use against a dodgy team. Turn 1 now, back to the Forest of Flames. Had the ball before turn 1. Naturally lost possession, but now the ball remains on the ground. Just like that, 30 seconds off the 2-minute clock. You get 2 minutes per turn. If you run out of time on the turn clock, you have 7 minutes 30 seconds in bonus time that you can dip into for the duration of the game. Two-die blitz with Kaladin, the number 1 war dancer into double skulls. Re-rolls that into a push. Nuffles having none of this business. Good chain push. We saw JD Whitey with excellent chain pushing earlier in the season. Eric as well. It's unfortunate Eric had technical difficulties with their computer. That happened during the season as well. It was really unfortunate. But we hope Eric can get that squared away. Richard Cranium as well. Love to see Richard Cranium participate in the league. Also a great coach. Both coaches, of course, qualifying for the Blood Bowl. It'd be great to see them make a return in season 5. Richard Cranium with that Dwarven team with the Death Roller. I was looking forward to the more Death Roller action. Failed the dodge here wow! Failed the dodge with the catcher. Had to spend another re-roll. And now the Force of Flames down to 1 re-roll. But here's an armor break. Gets a stun. Bounces the ball into the hands of Hercha. And now gets it out of this scrum over toward the right sideline. Force of Flames on the bonus clock. Dodges away Sigzil, the number 4 lineman, also injured. This serious injury means if he has to roll on that CAS table, it's going to be a +1. Good 2+ dodge by Drahe. Also injured. This is the kicker. So the pressure relieved a little bit on this ball. Nevva in turn 2. They're going to be able to try to secure this ball and start trying to take out some of these elves. 2 rerolls left for Nevva. Just 1 for the Forest of Flames with 2 really unfortunate rolls here in turn 1. The double skull roll on the blitz and then the failed dodge. Those dodges are always going to be a 2+ provided they're positive dodges, meaning that they're not dodging into tackle zones. Always a 2+. Hercha moves forward, marks the number 10 lineman, also marking Teft the War Dancer. Has the guard skill, so he will lend an assist on a blitz. Remember, these War Dancers, they start at level 1. They start as rookies, as blodgers. It is insane. They're very, very good pieces. MA8, Edge 2+. They start as blodgers. They have leap as well. Teft here, he's the strip ball War Dancer. He's the one to watch out for. He can leap into your cage and just try to strip that ball. All he needs to do is get a push on your player, and that'll strip the ball out of his hands. Here's the blitz on Teft. So took it with the blitzer. This will just be a push. Pushing into another block here. has to get a pal. Well, now he doesn't, but he gets 2 of them. Why not? 7 plus the break armor here. Broke armor on the War Dancer. Gets a stun on the War Dancer. 3 plus pickup works out. Good block to push into a more favorable block with the tackle Mighty Blow player. Gets the armor break on the War Dancer, gets a stun out of it. Turn 2 for the Forest of Flames. Boy, we're only in turn 2, and it's been quite the game so far. 2 assists on a runaround. Gets the 2-die block and the knockdown. 10 plus breaks armor on this Biggin blocker. Biggin blockers with a strength of 4. Average strength in the game of Blood Bowl is 3. But strength can be a little deceiving in this game. Strength 4, yeah, you say strength 4, oh, that's stronger than strength 3 by a third. And while that's true, you can fall in the trap of saying, oh, strength 5, that's just a little bit, that's just a third better. It's not. Strength 4 is very good, and strength 5 is, I might even say, an order of magnitude better. And that's because when you're blocking, if the average strength is 3, you go try to block a strength 3 player, that's a 1-die block. Great. Strength 4 player, that's an uphill block. So that's an unfavorable block. That means you need to get 1 assist just to get the 1-die block. You're probably looking for the 2-die block. So you need 2 assists on the strength 4 player with a strength 3 player. If you're trying to block with a strength 3 player, you need 2 assists. And then with a strength 5 player, you need 3 assists. So not only are you just adding yet another player, it can be hard to try to get that player into a position where you can lend the assist unless he has guard. And it's just that many more players that you're pulling into assist, but then not playing defense with. So you're really losing agency when you choose to commit with these high strength against these high strength players, and that's what makes them so strong. SB Beaver says, but as long as you trust a Nuffle, you can always take uphill blocks. I think there's sort of a weird curve with new players to the game where they'll take uphill blocks because they don't understand kind of how uphill blocks work at first. Then they'll learn how they work, and then they'll never take uphill blocks, and then they'll learn how the probabilities work out, and then they'll start to take uphill blocks again when it makes sense to take uphill blocks. So, like, if you're trying to surf someone and you're just looking for that push, maybe the uphill block's not so bad. So, there's a weird little bell curve, I think, that happens with uphill blocks as players learn the game. Turn 3 now for Nevva. They have the ball on their own 8-yard line in that right wide zone. Have to be a little careful of committing to a wide zone early, because as you can see, these elves are eager to take advantage of that. If the ball commits to the wide zone, now the elves can apply pressure in 2 directions. BB Nut says that's the same as rushes. Rookies will do loads. Yeah, I agree. Yep. Rookies will rush all day long. They say, oh, it only fails on a 1. That means it's guaranteed to succeed. Then they'll fail a bunch of rushes. Then they'll never do them. Right. A kind sir, welcome to the stream. Yeah, it's free movement. We've said it 1,000 times on the stream, but players, especially new players to tabletop games or new players to dice, they sort of have 3 views of probability. Either it should never happen, it's a 50-50, or it should always happen. So they look at the rush as, oh yeah, I just get 2 extra movement. It's gonna work. It'll fail maybe once the whole game. So then they'll learn to not do that anymore, and then they'll learn, as BB Not I think rightly points out, they'll learn, oh, you know what? Sometimes I should take that rush. I just need to understand when to take the rush. Turn 3 now for the Forest of Flames. This ball is going to shoot back to center pitch. Nevva going to try to carve out some center pitch so they can keep their movement options open. More importantly, I think, is not only is it going to keep their movement options open, but by keeping the movement options open, they can move left, right, or forward. It's going to force these elves to spread out to defend it, and that's going to make them a little bit weaker and maybe not so eager to take as many blocks. And the Ranger says, "Stomp the War Dancer." Well, that didn't happen. SB Beaver says, "Are there any other statistics?" Any other statistics? What do you mean? Black Wolf says, "My skinks are always running for their lives, so they always GFI." I feel that. Good dodge by number 1, Kaladin. Blodger's sidestep has tackle as well. What else can only field 2 War Dancers, and I think you'll almost always see both War Dancers on a TV 1000 or not 1000, 1 million roster. Yeah, so the Force of Flames pulling some players back. Now with this ball moving to center pitch, has to reset their formation, play a little more D. 18 seconds left on the clock for the Force of Flames. They have 1 reroll left for the half. Had to spend 2 in 1 turn. This is another thing. It certainly can be frustrating as these elves just dodge away all day long. But yeah, make them roll those dice. They will fail those die rolls eventually. And if they start to bleed those rerolls, then the odds are going to change significantly in your favor. Force of Flames back on the bonus clock. 6 minutes, 20 seconds left for the duration of the game. That counts overtime as well. Took a 5+ dodge to try to get back in formation. Knew it would fail. But Teft's going to remain on the pitch. Turn 4 now for Nevva. So Teft prone once more. We'll see if Chime will go in on the foul. The Orcs don't have bribes, they don't have a fouler, and they don't have anybody on their bench. But were it me, I think I might foul the War Dancer, but we'll see what happens. Turn 4, Nevva has the ball on their own 4-yard line. They're advancing their line forward, marking elves, as a Bashy team does. Takes a mark on Drehy. Gets right back in front of Taft. Here's the blitz on Drehy. 2-die blitz. Gets a push. Drehy, the kicker. Frenzy follow-up. Gets the knockdown. Well done. 7+ breaks armor. Kicker's going to remain on the pitch, though. The winner of this matchup is going to have to face either another Orc team or a Lizard team in the finals. Ball's going to cross the line of scrimmage for the first time in this game. Now on the opposing 2-yard line. Nevva on the onside kick. Lost that ball before the game even really begun. Before turn 1, that is. They were able to recover. And now they've got their offense going. SB Beaver says, "Can we eject the Orc coach if he doesn't try to foul the War Dancer?" We can do anything we want. Turn 4. Final turn of the first quarter for the Force of Flames. Ball caged up on the Force of Flames' own 2-yard line. Force of Flames able to restructure their defensive formation after going in aggressive on that ball. Didn't work out. We're able to reposition. They do have the number 2 War Dancer back behind the line, behind the offensive line, that is. He could try to harass with this War Dancer. He could try to reposition the War Dancer. We'll see what he wants to do. Dodges away number 13, the level 3 catcher Lopen, currently in the safety position. BB says, "I wonder if JD will try to leap in this turn. The back of the cage is weak." Indeed it is. Locking down this line on the left side. 2-die block on Gotta Make You Understand. Yeah, the number 13 lineman here gets a push out of it. Pushes him toward the ball carrier. 2-die blitz by Kaladin gets a push here. Repositions that War Dancer back into the secondary. Goes in for the blitz, goes back for safety. That's what you got to do. 2+ dodge by Teft. Dodges into safety, applying some pressure from behind. But more importantly, just doesn't want to give up the block. If this Orc team wants to go after Teft, it's going to have to be a blitz. And that's a blitz in the wrong direction against a blodger. SPB says, I feel it's a little early for cage busting, but I also didn't quite make it this far. Close enough, though. 5th place is nothing to sneeze at. Dodging to reposition. 6 minutes, 1 second left on the bonus clock. Blitz has been spent. 2+ dodge away. Fails the 2+ dodge. Probably lets this rock. Oh, no! He did let it rock, and it turned out to be an injury. I mean, you're going to lose elves over the course of a game when you play as Wood Elves. 2+ dodge failed with the kicker, and now the kicker out of the game. So had great use of the kicker here at the start of this drive, and will not have any more use of that kicker for the rest of the game. Two-die block now on turn 5 for Nevva. Second quarter begins. Gets an armor break. That is the second removal. 2-man player advantage now for Nevva. 2 permanent removals for this game. Got the pow on the blitz. BB says, a couple of the Team England guys have been talking about doing risky plays on turns 2 to 5 as you get more chances and it's easier to recover. I think that's a fair strategy. I've never even considered that. Moob09, welcome to the stream. Moob says, I feel like with Wood Elves that's better in a resurrection format where you don't have to worry about the state of your team next game if it goes wrong. I think that's fair as well. Turn 5 now for Force of Flames. Ball on the opposing 4-yard line. Wood Elves down 2 players. They're down to 9 on the pitch. Resurrection format, by the way. It's a format of competition where after the game, your team is sort of reset back to the way it was. That is not what we do here in this league, but that's one of the ways Blood Bowl is played. The Ranger says, sure would be a shame if all the elves died. BB Nut makes a great point. If JD Whitey loses this game, the elves are effectively dead anyway. I mean, if they lose this game, well, they will have the consolation match, of course, but there's the leap in on the blitz. Gets the knockdown on the ball carrier. The War Dancer leap blitz. Ball bounces in the hands of the number 12 lineman. I just want to tell you the 4th. Good leap blitz, though. Took the leap blitz on the ball carrier. Remember, this is the strip ball. War Dancer just needed a push. Gets the knockdown anyway. Takes a 1-die block on that number 2 big and blocker. Gets a push out of this. Says, get off of me. And then follows up. He says, never mind. I've got more things to say. Excuse me. But I've got... Might you be interested in a timeshare? BB Nut says, I had a league game a few hours ago versus Halflings with Morg. Morg 2 out of 2 times caught the ball. Turn 6 for Nevva now. They've got the ball on the opposing 8-yard line now. They are marked by the number 1 War Dancer. SB Beaver says, I need to stop underestimating War Dancers. You should never underestimate. Of any piece in this game, I think War Dancers are not one to underestimate. Another removal here on the KO. Gets rid of the number 7 Blodger. 3-man player advantage now for Nevva, but they're running out of time. I had a game, was it season 3? Might have been season 2. I was playing War Dancers. I was playing Wood Elves. And I had a tree. Was it me? No, it might not have been me. It might have been Dead Fred. Somebody had I think it was Dead Fred, actually. Because I don't think I ran a tree. Because I normally don't. But regardless, it was a Wood Elf team, and the tree intercepted the ball. It was marvelous. 2-9 block with Let You Down will be a both standing result unless a reroll is spent here. So that was the frenzy player, but because there was no pushback, there is no follow-up block. Yeah, I think it was Dead Fred, because I don't think I ran a tree. I don't think I've run a tree in decades. I can't remember the last time I've had a tree on a Wood Elf roster. .30 seconds left on the clock. 3+ dodge by the ball carrier. Oh, dodges into the tackle zone, spends a reroll, trying to get the knockdown on this War Dancer. Nevva down to 1 reroll. It's just going to be a push. Remember, it's a pal to knock down this War Dancer unless you have the tackle skill. I am the one that says the tree is the best big guy. I think the tree is awesome. I think the tree is great. I don't know if it's literally the best big guy. I mean, if you're going to count, like, undead mummies, I think undead mummies would be objectively better. Crocs is good, too. Crocs is good, too. I like trees a lot. I think trees are very, very underestimated. Turn 6 for the Forest of Flames. 3 turns left to defend against this offense. If they can stop the score, they will be in excellent shape in this matchup. We saw Cenozoic Park's Crocs successfully dodge to pick up the ball to hand off to win a game. Yeah, I agree. BB Nut says I don't count mummies or Tomb Guardians as big guys though. Yeah, like they're sort of a strange. They're kind of I don't know. Like they don't behave like normal big guys because they have no nega trait. Gets the knockdown on the blitz here. SB Beaver says too soon. That's right. It was that was the score against you. Uphill block on the ball carrier here. Gets a push out of this. So again, that's that strip ball at work. Just needed the push, and we just talked about when to take the 2-die block and when you don't. Just needed the push there. Took the 2-die block. Or when to take the uphill block, I should say. Took the uphill block, got the strip ball to effectuate here, but then failed the dodge with Bissig. Turn 7 now for Nevva. The ball once again on the ground at the 4-yard line. They're really stalling out this offense. They need to end this turn in scoring position in order to get on the board. BB Nut says, can you imagine when I started BB, goblins and halflings didn't have big guys? I started playing Blood Bowl in 3rd edition and recently filled out my Blood Bowl collection with, I have a whole bunch of Blood Bowl now. I've got a couple of copies of 1st edition, 2nd edition, all sorts of stuff. Oh no, was that? That was Teft! No Teft! Yeah, the Oppo has to be spent here. Boy. Wow. Wow. Nevva got. We talked about how he had to go after those War Dancers, and he did. Oppo spent on the War Dancer trying to keep him alive, but this apothecary does not have his medical degree. Tried to heal him with magnets, didn't work out. And now that's one War Dancer out of the game. 3-die block on Lopa and the catcher. Gets a POW out of this. 7+ breaks armor. BBNet says goblins didn't have special weapons either. But yeah, so I played a couple of games of first edition. It's a terrible game. But it's very interesting to me from the perspective as a Blood Bowl fan. Second edition is much more akin to modern Blood Bowl, but I would say third edition is where Blood Bowl became Blood Bowl. But yeah, anyway, looking through the rosters, like kind of over time, is crazy town. Like, things change so drastically between first and third edition, like with each iteration. Tried the 3+ pickup, failed the pickup here, and now they're going to have one turn to get on the board. Got to make you understand, in scoring position, one rush will do it. Say goodbye twice a second in scoring position. Give your up the... Give your up the Lessa. The rookie #1 big blocker in scoring position as well. Those are the 3 players who are threatening to score. SP Beaver and Hank the Ranger really broken up about the loss of the War Dancer. So a 4-man player advantage for Nevva, but they are not in possession of the ball, and they need to score this turn. Got the pushback. I've got to make you understand that's going to be two rushes to score now, but then they've got to get the ball there in the first place. We'll see what happens. They don't have any re-rolls remaining. They're going to have to make a big play in order to get on the board. A pickup to a hand... Nope. A pickup to a handoff to a pass, I think, is his only option. Good positioning by JD Whitey here with #11 lineman here to prevent. This prevents the sneak out by this scorer for the 2 rushes. JD Whitey making this score as difficult as possible for the offense. Turn 8 now for Nevva, no re-rolls. Oh boy, what's the play? It's gonna have to be a handoff to a pass to praying to Nuffle. Three-die blitz on Dabbid. Gets the knockdown here. So now we're down to just a handoff. One handoff to 2 rushes. SP Beaver prays to Nuffle. It can be a handoff to make you cry, and then 2 rushes to score. Here's the handoff attempt. Fails the catch, and not gonna do it, so JD Whitey stops this offense from scoring. Fantastic defense by this Wood Elf team despite losing 4 players. SP Beaver with the emergency rush warning, but didn't even get to that point, unfortunately, for the Orc team. 2-die blitz, I've got to make you understand, it's going to be a POW, 10+ breaks armor. Gets nothing out of it, and that'll be the half. 0-0 the score. The Forest of Flames will be on offense to start the second half of this game. Great defense by this Wood Elf team. So the Force of Flames get back their KO'd player. They'll be down 3. Let's see, 3, 6, 9. They'll be down 2. So Nevva gonna set up their defense here, and obviously they're looking to screen out this Elven team. What's almost certainly going to happen here is that the Elven team, they're going to retreat right out of the gate. They're going to retreat. They're going to try to engage down here. This is going to be how they try to stall out this drive. They are faster. That means they'll get probably 2, 3, 4 turns out of this retreat while these orcs trundle forward. Nevva still can't give up the pitch. Needs to be careful of not overcommitting as they chase down these elves. They need to keep their formation intact. They need to keep their defense intact. They're just going to be down a few turns, and that means trying to force the score. Probably not likely. They're going to try to stop the score, which means this is the engagement zone. Orcs trying to screen out these Wood Elves. They do have a 2-man player advantage. One of those War Dancers off the pitch. The guy with that inner yellow circle, that's the remaining War Dancer. That's Kaladin. Level 3 Blodger with sidestep and tackle. Here's the kick. Nobody back to receive because he doesn't need any back to receive. He plans on retreating. He'll keep everybody forward just in case the ball goes forward, just in case he needs to engage. Otherwise, we're heading to the Force of Flames end zone. Lopin fails to catch as a catcher. Boy, you can't foul a catch as a catcher in a semifinal. Ball gets kicked to the opposing 8-yard line, and there's the retreat. There they go. Oh, fails the pickup with the catcher. Has to spend the reroll here. Oh, double! Double ones rolls the snake eyes. And now Nevva with a chance to apply some pressure to the ball. Rolled snake eyes on the catch. We just said that catcher, I don't know what's up with him. He can't catch that ball. Nerves have got to him here in the semifinals. Nevva applying pressure on the ball. BB Nut says that's why you should pick up before you move the lineman back. And now Nevva, they are getting aggressive. They're trying to pick off some of these elves. They're going to have to hope that some rolls go in their favor, both on their turn and on this upcoming Wood Elf turn. Here's the blitz. 2-die blitz on the number 14 thrower. Gets the knockdown here. 7+ breaks armor. There's the armor break. Gets a stun out of it. And that's a third orc on the ball. BB Nut says JD must have been watching too much Jets football this year. Gets a push on the number 7 Wood Elf lineman over on the left side of the line. SB Beaver says, time to orc things up. I want to say that. It's a shame. I'm building out my my 40K epic army. It's a shame. I'm sorry, a 30K, which is the whole point of this story. It's a shame it's 30K because I can't have an orc army. Turn 10 now for the Force of Flames. Two plus dodge to the 2-die blitz on Herchik. Got the POW here. Looking for a 10+. He's going to push onto the ball. Gets the 10. Wow, got the 10+. Got the removal pushed onto the ball. The Oppo's going to be spent here. the Oppo said, you could be injured or you could be dead. Which one do you want? Wow, great play here by J.D. White. He gets the ball out of the scrum as well. Gets the removal on the blitz, pushes onto the ball, has that ball bounce out of the scrum, and has recovered the ball with Lopen. Lopen able to save his name. Recovers the ball and retreats all the way back to the 16-yard line. Fails a 2+ dodge in the left wide zone. Spends the reroll. Force the Flames down to 1 reroll for the game. And remember, if this goes to overtime, they're not going to recover those rerolls. Food Polish says, miss next game, even if I win, that blitzer is dead. Yep. Yep, that's true. What a doctor. Well, I got some good news, I got some bad news for you. The good news is, I don't have to kill you. But the bad news is, all I can do for you is kill you. So what do you want? What do you want from me? Nevva Gunna here on turn 10. Frenzy follow-up. Going after the Blodger lineman. Gets another push out of this. 2-die block on number 7. This hat, oh boy, double skulls. Had to spend the reroll down to 2 for the game. Gets a push. Really going after that Blodger. This is why Blodgers can be a real nuisance to deal with. When you block and dodge, those two skills modify die rolls in such a way. Like block allows you to remain standing on a both down result, and dodge allows you to remain standing on a defender stumbles result, provided the blocker doesn't have the tackle skill. So that leaves only one face on the die to knock you down. That's the POW. So that's a 1 in 6 shot of knocking down a blocker. Oh, I'm sorry, a Blodger without any intervening skills. BBNet says, old Necromunda had the worst doctors of a straight reroll. You could go, oh, you have a leg wound. Go get the doctor, look at it, he's dead. Turn 11 for the Forest of Flames. They were able to recover the ball. So both teams on their drives had a little bit of predicament on the first turns, and both teams have been able to recover successfully. So just a one-man player advantage for Nevva Gunna now. And remember, this team, very fast, very agile. Minimum speed on this team is MA7. That is pretty speedy. And then, of course, MA8 on the catchers and the War Dancers as well. And everybody is an edge of 2+. Very fast, very agile. They don't need a lot of players on the pitch to score. They can catch, they can pass, they can run. You really have to defend every square inch of the pitch against a team like this, and that's what makes it so hard to prevent them from scoring. The real trick here for Nevva Gunna is going to be, when do you go in on the ball? If you go in too early, then these Elves are just going to run. They're going to head for the hills, and they're going to score for sure. But if you go in too late, then you need to make sure that your defense is in place and intact to prevent an Elf from just dodging away, right? You get a dodge to a handoff to a pass to a score. It can all happen in one turn from almost anywhere on the pitch. Moves the catcher forward to the line of scrimmage. And now Lopen, the ball carrier, on the Force of Flames' own 2-yard line. The number of dodges to set up the cage on this ball carrier. There it is. Sets up the tight cage on their own 2-yard line, just outside the right wide zone. Dodge is working out here. Another dodge by the remaining War Dancer. Kaladin gets on the left side of the cage. Finally fails a dodge roll here. Will let this rock. No armor break. Turn 11 for Nevva. So now they're finding themselves almost entirely behind the cage. They need to reposition their players. And they have a number of players after getting very aggressive that are just not in position. So it's going to be real tough to defend against this cage. We'll see what Nevva has up their sleeve. BB Nuts says back in my day, catches were movement 9. So one thing I noticed, I don't know what the prevailing wisdom is on first edition, but for the couple of games of first edition I played, like the special teams, like the ones with I guess what you would call like an underworld team today, like the mixed teams and like the rulebook's divided into like the normal teams and then these like special teams. The special teams just seem straight up broken. Like they just seem incredibly good. like ogres are incredibly, or was it trolls? I think it was trolls. One of those guys are troglodytes. I think it was troglodytes that were like incredibly good. Like stupidly good. Playing those games is interesting just from a historical perspective, because you play first edition. First edition is just like Warhammer Fantasy at the time, just on a pitch with a ball. And then you get second edition, and you're like, oh, that's why they introduced GFIs, right? Because you play first edition, and you just have pieces that are just playing faster than other pieces, and it's like it's a weird sort of game. And so you're like, oh, okay, that's why they introduced GFIs, and then you play that game, and you're like, oh, that's why they introduced following up on a block, and it's real interesting to see sort of the evolution of the game. Turn 12 now for the Forest of Flames, so a number of ogres got back in front of this cage. Just one reroll left for the Forest of Flames. Chime praying to Nuffle that reroll gets burnt. I have a magazine that, was it White Dwarf? Yeah, it must have been White Dwarf. I have a issue of White Dwarf from the 80s that had pieces for first edition Blood Bowl from Judge Dredd. I haven't read up on the pieces to see how good or bad they are or not, though, but I just thought that was really interesting. That there was a time in Blood Bowl where you could have judges on the pitch. Yeah, we, I don't know how recently, maybe a year or two ago, we played, what's that dredge? Blockmania. I love that game. That game is pure chaos. Blockmania is a Judge Dredd game, board game, a classic 80s board game, where you're fighting in the big Judge Dredd, like, city domes or whatever, the tower cities, there's a name for them. And then you just have dudes like flying around and shooting stuff and crazy things happening, and like floors of these cities get lit on fire and collapse and they chain react, and it is glorious. It is such a fun game. PBNet says I've almost picked up Blockmania a few times. It is super duper fun. Force of Flames back on the bonus clock. Under 5 minutes on the bonus clock. They have the ball on their own 14-yard line. Failed the dodge. Used the dodge skill, the free reroll there. So they didn't have to dip into that final team reroll. In fact, they couldn't with that free dodge. You can only reroll a die pool once. There's another failed dodge. This time against a tackle player. Oh, no, it's not against a tackle player. That's his own tackle player. So again, gets the free reroll. And now turn 12. Final turn of the third quarter for Nevva. They're able to reset their defense. And they're going to have to almost certainly stop this score. And if they don't recover the ball, they're playing for overtime. They have a one-man player advantage currently. I think, boy, what a tough call. I think I wouldn't. I'm very risk averse, so I'm not sure I'd be tempted to apply the pressure. I'd probably just reset for overtime, but that could be tricky too. That comes down to a coin toss, really. Setting up chevrons on the left side of the line, so you can see he's trying to screen out these elves, keeping this defense intact. Yeah, Block Mania, I highly recommend. It's a super fun beer and pretzels game. Taking a mark over in the right wide zone against the number 4 lineman. So that's going to be the blitz target, it seems. Here it is, 2-die blitz. Gets the knockdown here, looking for an 8+. Doesn't get the armor break, decides to follow up. And moves over to the right. One player left to action here, and that's going to be Make You Cry, the number 6 blitzer. And he'll stay right in that safety position. So fourth and final quarter begins. A 0-0 ball game. The Force of Flames have the ball on their own 14-yard line. So a potential gap to open up here. We'll see what happens. Could also have a big gap here. And it looks like he's going to go for the left side. Gets the knockdown. And runs that War Dancer through the gap. Turn 13 now for Nevva. They've got 4 turns to stop this score, perhaps recover the ball, but that ball caged up very tightly. Taking the block on Kaladin, the number 1 War Dancer here, the one remaining War Dancer on the pitch. Minute 22 left on the clock here. These final few turns are absolutely going to be a chess match. Nevva doing everything in their power to try to contain these elves. Blitz still on the table. Here's the blitz on the War Dancer. Both down results. Going to be a both standing result on the War Dancer, so the blitz has been spent. And it's 3 players now tied up by that War Dancer. Retreating the Orcs in the right wide zone back across the line of scrimmage, trying to cover as much of the pitch as possible. One more player left to activate. Number 12, the rookie lineman. Black Wolf says, I want JD Whitey to win, but I also want to see all the elves die. I'm conflicted. That's the turn. Turn 14 now for the Forest of Flames. Good dodge over to the left wide zone. 2 marks on runaround. The number 3 big and blocker. Fails a dodge here. Succeeds on the free reroll. That dodge skill coming in very handy. 2-die blitz. Double pals on runaround. Looking for the 10 plus. Frees up the left sideline. We'll see if that's what the ball's going. Failed the rush into a stun. Another failed 2 plus. Turn 14 for Nevva. Oh boy, is he gonna go after this ball? I don't know. We'll see what happens. 2-die block on Dabbid. Got the knockdown. 8 plus will break armor here. This will be a huge armor break. It doesn't get it. Has a 2-die block on the catcher currently. An assist could make it a 3-die block, but I don't see where he can get it. 2-die blitz, I should say. The way the Blood Bowl is structured, these in the semifinals, all but one of these teams are competition winners this season. That means they just have to win 2 games to be the season champion. There's the blitz. Gets a push on the blitz. He's going to sidestep to wherever he would like to be. And he would like to go to the left, please. Wow, decided to follow up on that block. It's going to give the catcher a 1 in 36 shot away, to dodge away. Or a 1 in 36 shot to fail. A 35 in 36 shot to dodge away. Two-die block on the number 1 War Dancer. This is going to be a dodge push. And that War Dancer will sidestep to wherever he would like to be. Wild Blue, welcome to the stream. Wild Blue says if he does not roll ones, he will hand off to that catcher and score. The catcher is indeed in scoring position. Turn 15 for the Forest of Flames. The play being discussed is here to here. Failed the dodge, gets a free reroll. Fails the dodge! Rolled the snake eyes on the dodge, almost certainly trying to score this turn. Three-die block on Hover. JD Whitey says, I just want to say, I hate you, Wild Blue. Judge Dredge, welcome to the stream. So now, an opportunity for Nevva to at least stop the score, perhaps even score themselves. Two-die block on Dabbid. Gets the knockdown thanks to the block skill here. Good recovery here. Succeeds on the rush despite Cobblestorm PV. Or maybe not despite, but because Cobblestorm PV lowered the rush failure rate from the Games Workshop mandated 900% to a paltry, a measly, a tiny 99%. He was able to succeed on that rush. Judge Dredge praying to Nuffle here, and I think Nevva doing the same. Nevva with control of the ball. I don't know if anyone can really get there, can they? Yeah, I don't think anybody can get there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 2. So, make you cry can only go here, here, here. So it's just about keeping this ball safe and going into overtime. Judge Dredge says that's a lot of red smears. Yes, it is. And there's probably going to be a whole lot more depending on what happens in these final 2 turns. So remember, if this goes to overtime, the rerolls will not be replenished. The bonus clock doesn't get replenished. Rerolls do not get replenished. Injuries don't get replenished. It's just like a third half, so to speak, right? So there will be a coin toss to determine who gets to decide to be on offense or defense. But resources don't replenish. If the Force of they're retreating their players, trying to stay alive. If the Force of Flames win this coin toss, then if the Force of Flames win this coin toss, they'll almost certainly be on offense. I think whoever wins the coin toss is probably going to decide to be on offense here. No KOs to receive. That's a failed dodge. I don't think he spends the reroll here. Yeah, just let it rock. That is it. We're going to overtime. So this is a full 8 turns of overtime. 0-0 the score. We'll see who wins the coin toss. SB Beaver says, I feel the no reroll replenishment is a personal hit at me. Big coin toss here. Who wins it? Nevva wins the coin toss. They're going to receive this ball. They're going to try to win this game on this drive. Boy, JD Whitey probably still stinging from that failed dodge. Saw the end zone in sight. Cobblestorm BB rooting for this Elven defense. It'll be a one-man player advantage for Nevva. They have one. Did he spend that reroll? He did spend the reroll. Ah! Spent the reroll. Pupo says, I rerolled like an idiot, thinking it was the last turn. That's all right. Nevva down to 1 reroll for the game. But Forest of Flames has no rerolls left for the game. Blackwolf says, I got the NFL on mute because this is more exciting now. Let's go. Let's go indeed. This overtime game to determine which of these 2 teams makes it to the championship game of the season. 3 open competitions. Boiled down to 11 teams in this invitational. And once more, the Forest of Flames get the blitz on the kickoff event. We're down to 4 teams. The winner tonight advances to the championship game and guaranteed to finish no less than 2nd place. There's the blitz on Say Goodbye Twice to open up the hole to the ball. SB Beaver says, let the elfing begin. So just like the beginning of this game, we've got another blitz to a short kick of the Forest of Flames. Are going to try to get under here. There it is. Lopin once again on the catch. Blackwolf says, I didn't hear if you said it, but is it the first score wins? No, it's a full 8 turns. Unless something has changed, Cyanide has changed something. Which could be the case, but it's a full 8 turns. Judge Dredd says, just thought I would drop in while I'm having my hot milk. Well, always glad to have you. What a game to drop in on. SB Beaver says, in BB2 it was sudden death, right? Yes. Yes, it was. And once again, Lopin fails the catch. Lopin, what are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? You're choking. Jamie Whitey says, can you catch the ball? Turn 17 for Nevva. So the ball now on the 6-yard line next to Leighton. Leighton a blodger. He's the number 7 lineman. Two-dive block on the line. Gets a pal against Hopper. Really looking for a player advantage here. 8+ will break armor, but no armor break. Two-dive block against Sigzil. The number 4 Wood Elf lineman gets the armor break here. Gets a stun out of it. Both teams with plenty of time left on their bonus clock. Here's the blitz on Leighton. Got the POW he was looking for and just needs a 7+ to break armor. But no armor break. Rolled a 5. Going for the ball pickup. 3+ pickup. Worked out. Might have been a scary bounce if he wasn't able to pick that up. But good recovery here. So now Nevva able to recover this ball on the blitz again on the kickoff. Now has the ball dead center on their own 2-yard line. Two-dive block against Relaine, the catcher in the left wide zone, gets the knockdown, but no armor break. One-man player advantage for Nevva. The one-dive block on number 8 gets the pal here. Did have the block skill, so not too risky, and breaks armor. Can he get a removal? Just gets a stun out of it. Two-dive block on Dabbit. Gets the knockdown here. 8+ again is the number to look for an armor break. And another armor break. And this time the removal got the KO. 2-man player advantage for Nevva. Turn 17 back to the Forest of Flames. Boy, what a game this has been. Scoreless game here into overtime. Good 2+ dodge by Lopin, the would-be catcher, who can't seem to catch anything in this, the most important game of the season so far for the Forest of Flames. Food Publisher says, did an orc pick up a dropped elf ball? That's a win for me regardless. Two-dive blitz on Make You Cry. Gets the POW here. Can he get the big 10+? Cannot. But was able to knock the ball out of the hands of Make You Cry, the ball carrier. Favorable bounce here on the 3+ pickup, but fails the pickup again, this time with Leighton. That'll be a turnover. Turn 18 for Nevva. Who greased the ball? Nevva with 1 re-roll remaining. Orcs getting very aggressive here. They really want to fight for this ball. SB Brewer says he needs to just stop trying to pick it up. Two-dive block gets the POW on the thrower. Got the 8+. Got another removal. 3-man player advantage now for Nevva. BP Nuts says Tom Brady deflated balls. Is he playing Blood Bowl? I think he's a coach. I think he turned into a Blood Bowl coach. I got an idea, guys. Big scrum forming around the ball. Two-dive block on Leighton will be a both standing result. Leighton a blodger. Did take it with a tackle player. Could have negated a defender stumbles result, but didn't roll it. And now against the catcher, this is going to be a dodge push. Tries to pick that catcher off of the formation here to get him out of this scrum. Here's the blitz. 2-die blitz on Leighton, gets a push. Pushes Leighton to the side, almost certain. Well, we'll see if he follows up or not. He may not follow up. Decides to follow up. I think that's fine. Turn 18 for the Force of Flames now. A bunch of elves finding themselves encircled by orcs. Force Flames keeping their secondary in check. Nevva making it here to the upper bracket from the runners-up bracket. Defeated the Dead Poets to advance. Force of Flames. Oh! Failed the rush. Failed the rush on the blitz. Turn 19 for Nevva. Oh, that animation. Someone didn't braid a knuffle. JD Whitey, of course. SP Beaver with the emergency rush warning, the late emergency rush warning. Thank you for the bits. JD Whitey making it to the upper bracket here by being the Dungeon Bowl champion. They defeated the Dead Poets in the final game of the Dungeon Bowl. That earned them their spot here in the semifinals. Nevva coming in second place in the Chaos Cup, defeated by Doug the Minotaur, current league champion, lost to Kicks, and might be fearful of that happening again here. So we'll see what happens. Cobblestorm BB says, I need Chime/Boot to teach me that anti-elf curse used here and versus Dead Fred. Yeah, you just need to get you somebody who knows magic. Good 3+ pickup. Speaking of Kicks, if this game is a tie game at the end of overtime, at the end of turn 24, then it goes to Kick. So that is basically just a roll-off, but your rerolls do count for you. Each reroll you have is a +1, but that is another removal. 4-man player advantage now for Nevva. JD Whitey says, I need an exorcist for my dice. BB Nut says, I'm trying to work out or what to play in season 6, season 5, I assume. SP Beaver says, all halflings. All halflings. I'm not going to play halflings. but feel free to. Turn 19 for the Force of Flames. Oh my goodness! Failed the second rush again. Turn 20 for Nevva. They have the ball on their own 2-yard line. They've got daylight ahead of them. Failed the rush and was stunned. Two-die block on Sigzil gets the POW on number 4. Another armor break, another removal. 5-man player advantage now for Nevva. SP Beaver late on the emergency rush warning again. But thank you for the bits. Yeah, and this is one of the unfortunate things. So I love Wood Elves. They're one of my favorite teams. But yeah, they're just very brittle. And over the course of the game, you will lose some. And if you have to go to overtime, that's just more turns that you're going to get punched in the face. 2-die block now against Haber. This is going to be a both down result. Moop says, I would love to see the Russian dodge stats for the elves when the game is over. They seem abysmal. I would love to see them too, but for whatever reason, Cyanide doesn't let us see them anymore as observers, which is unfortunate. BB Nut says, so I think I know what happened here. JD Whitey was convinced I would get my revenge and only prepared for undead. I have to say, BB Nut, I should be impartial, but I was rooting for you. I would have loved to see you climb all the way up here to the semifinals. Played some great games. All 11 coaches here. Obviously fantastic coaches making it to the finals. Making it to this championship, I should say. Another failed dodge. This time has to make a big risky dodge. Yeah. Has to make something happen, but gets KO'd. 6-man player advantage now for Nevva. Had to take some risks. BB Nut says, I want JD game 1 next season. Well, I hope it happens. Turn 21 for Nevva. They're absolutely going to wait until turn 24 to score. That's going to give the Force of Flames 1 turn to try to tie the ball game. Nevva just has to protect this ball carrier. That is the goal. Just 4 elves left on the pitch. SB Beaver says, I'll be sure to vote for that matchup if it's an option. Unfortunately, it's not. But noted. All the matchups are random. Well, I guess you could vote, if it's divisional, you could vote for the division where they're both in the same division. Frenzy follow-up on the block against Haber. Gets another push out of it. Next season will be the Bo Nix Believers. Bo standing result against Leighton. We'll get another block against Leighton if he chooses, but I'm not sure he wants to. Yeah, chooses not to. Moves Tell Two Lies forward ahead of the ball carrier. Turn 21 for the Force of Flames. They have 4 players left on the pitch. Six-man player advantage for Nevva. Kaladin on the blitz. This is the War Dancer. Here it comes. Good rush, 1-die blitz. Gets the knockdown on the ball carrier. The ball's going to scatter 2 spaces forward. Ball on the sideline on the 16-yard line. 2 rushes to get a mark on the ball. SB Beaver says, if only we had a bribable commissioner. Where's Nick at? Failed 3+ dodge. Has the reroll, but fails the reroll. That'll be a turnover. Turn 22 for Nevva. They left the back corner open on this ball carrier. Decided to try to cover the front. Ball carrier got knocked down. That ball is precariously situated on that left sideline. JD Weddy says, I failed another 2+. Thank you very much. Two-die block against Haber gets a push out of this. This is going to clear the ball. Could try to blitz in to surf this player. Oops, to surf this player, yep. And then set up a cage over here, maybe? There's the surf, good surf. Another removal. 7-man player advantage for Nevva. This overtime. They've been getting the removals they've been looking for, but they've got to pick this ball up. That's the scary bit of this. Force of Flames not out of this game. Even if they can't get on the board, it will come down to kicks. Here's the 3+ pickup. Succeeds on the pickup. Gets the ball down pitch. The ball on the Forest of Flames 22-yard line. It is turn 22 for the Forest of Flames. They've got one player threatening, and it's going to be Kaladin, the War Dancer. Good dodge number 1. Boy, fails dodge number 2. Needs to spend the reroll here. Succeeds another dodge. 3+ dodge coming up. Might try to leap this instead, in fact. Fails the dodge. Fails the dodge. Turn 23 for Nevva. They're going to stall this out till turn 24. Force of Flames still not out of this ball game. They will have one turn at least to get on the board and tie it up. Iron Cynic, welcome to the stream. Just 3 elves left on the pitch. All are prone. A wall of orcs around Kaladin. They say, you're not participating, sir. Kaladin does have leap, though, remember. It's going to foul Kaladin. All the assists. And there's the injury. Excellent foul. Excellent foul by Nevva. That is Kaladin removed from the pitch and from the game. Turn 24 for Nevva. They're going to walk this ball in. We'll see what the Force of Flames get back on the KO rolls. Nevva takes the lead 1-0. Very well done. They can taste a championship game. Just one comes back on the KO roll. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? One turn left in this game unless there's a timeout. You know what? If you could one turn it with 3 people somehow. Really, the Force of Flames hoping for the timeout. That's really their only option left. JD White says, I was expecting none of them, so 1's a plus. Yeah, that's right. Almost a legal concession. That's true. Which, if you're a veteran of the league, we made sure to spell that out clearly in the rules. That's the only option to concede in our league is the we call it the slaughter rule. And that's going to be nothing. JD Whitey says I could have legally conceded. You could have, indeed. But that's going to be the game. Nevva advances to the finals. Wow, what a game. Holy smokes. And so there it is. Nevva advances to the championship game this season. 3 open competitions. And this invitational, Nevva Gunna, as the runner-up in the Chaos Cup, was able to battle their way to the finals here. They're going to face off against either Nick Satan's Cenozoic Park, a Lizardman team, or they're going to get their chance for revenge against the current league champion, Doug the Minotaur and his White Skull Windbreakers. If that's the case, it will be an Orc mirror match for the championship. We've got one more semifinal to play. Then we'll have the consolation match. It'll be the Forest of Flames versus the loser of White Skull Windbreakers versus Cenozoic Park. If you're still here, JD Whitey, just keep that in mind. There, we do have a consolation match in our championship, so you'll be playing for third place. And so we'll have one more semifinal, we'll have the consolation match, and then we'll have the final. Just 3 games left this season. This has been a fantastic season and a fantastic Blood Bowl. JD Whitey says, my team is so destroyed, I'm not sure I want to. I would love it if you do, but we can talk about it offline. But let's take a look at the schedule before we leave. All right, our second semifinal match is going to be the White Skull Windbreakers versus Cenozoic Park. Doug the Minotaur versus Nick Satan. That's going to be this Tuesday, December 3rd at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's UTC -5. And then after that, we'll have our consolation match, and then we'll have our finals match. And they're all bound to be really good games. Holy moly. That was so much fun. I love this game. Yeah, after Tuesday, we'll schedule our consolation match, and when that game gets scheduled, you'll be able to check out and get alerted to the schedules on our website at maml.club. That's MAML.CLUB, here on Twitch, or on our social media pages on Blue Sky, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also watch previous games on our YouTube channel. Play Blood Bowl, man. This game is so much fun. You can play Blood Bowl via Blood Bowl 3 on Steam, the Epic Game Store, PlayStation, and Xbox, and in tabletop form at your friendly local game store. Until this Tuesday, December 3rd at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, take care, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening.